Welcome to the Fourth Down Experience, the podcast devoted to special teams. Your host of the Fourth Down Experience, former pro free agent, 9-year professional kicking coach out of the Midwest, Coach Chris Hughesby. Alongside Coach Chris Hughesby is a former 2-time Arena Bowl champ, 9-year pro kicking coach, repping the South, Coach Brian Jackson.
Hey, what's up, 4D Nation? We are back for our weekly industry tips. And today we are going to talk about the benefits of stretching and things that you can do to increase flexibility as well. So, how you doing, Brian?
Hey, I'm good, man. Flexibility is key. It's important. It's vital to your success as a kicker and a punter, and even a long snapper. So I'm excited to talk about flexibility and stretching and things of that sort here on the Fourth Down Experience podcast today.
Yep. So a few things, guys, that you want to take into consideration here is the type of stretching that you do. You know, a lot of football programs, especially high school programs, their stretching routine for pregame and things like that is very old school, where you're stretching and holding for long periods of time. However, for kickers, punters, and snappers, we want fast twitch motion of our muscles. And so you need to make sure that you're doing dynamic type of stretching. And dynamic stretching, guys, is basically where you're moving quick and you're always moving and you're exploding. And so holding a stretch for 30 seconds really isn't going to do the part. So you want to try to do stretches where there's a stretch for 2, 3, 4 seconds, and then you're moving into the next motion. So keep that in mind, guys, as you stretch, is to find those quicker movement type of stretches. So, Brian, what are some other stretches that typically help specialists out?
Yeah, and one thing that you guys need to make sure you do, if you want to hit pause here in a second, you need to hit pause here in a second after I tell you this. You need to go to YouTube and type in best warm-up for kickers and punters, and you'll find Coach Hughesby's YouTube video. So go ahead and hit pause and go ahead and do that. All right, great. You guys are back. Nice. That is a perfect example of a warm-up and stretch that you guys should do. Obviously, a free YouTube video that Coach Hughesby did a long time ago, and he does it every single camp that we do together. I'm kind of an old school guy, Chris. I like the static stretching, and I know a lot of people are kind of against that, but for me, I like doing a nice warm-up routine, getting the blood pumping, getting the juices flowing, and then I like to do just static stretching, kind of like your soccer team where you do the straight down and then spread your legs out, and then the groin, the hip flexors. That's just me, and that's just the coaches that have been around when I was playing college. So I think both are effective, but obviously whatever works for you, and we've seen the dynamic warm-up and stretch seem to work better with kickers and punters over recent years.
Yep. Another thing you guys can consider doing is getting into yoga. All right. Yoga has been something that just really over the last decade and a half has really grown in popularity. Wasn't around when I was in high school or college, and I shouldn't say wasn't around, it just wasn't common or popular to do, but yoga as a form of stretching is very good because a lot of it is holding poses and balance work where you might be on one foot and your body's moving in a certain position, and it really opens up your hips, your groin, your balance, stability of your ankles and your knees, and it can be very good to do. And I know oftentimes as possibly male athletes, it's possibly embarrassing to try doing, but I'd encourage you to give it a shot. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there on yoga, so if you want to just try it from the comforts of your own home, it's something that I would encourage you to do. A lot of NFL athletes and top collegiate specialists do that sort of thing. They may not talk about it a lot, but that's their secret sauce to giving them that edge. So,
one thing that's important with stretching and what's really awesome about it, you guys don't have to go out to the field or go to some workout place. I mean, you guys can do it right there at your house or in the front yard or around the block. We would recommend you guys need to be stretching 5 times a week, and you need to be doing it for about 20 minutes. And so, if you really want to become the best kicker and punter that you can be, you need to be doing it again 5 times a week, around 20 minutes at a time. And you should always do some kind of warm-up routine before you do any kind of stretching. You need to get the blood pumping and flowing through the muscles and through the veins before you start stretching those muscles. So, again, easy access. I always did band stretches in college, so you can also get a band and wrap it around your foot and, stretch out those hamstrings. I would say make sure those hamstrings are stretched out real well. Make sure those hip flexors and groins are stretched out well. And also, don't forget about your gluteus maximus muscles, the butt muscles, obviously very important in kicking and punting.
Exactly. And then lastly, guys, whether it's a stretch routine you're doing at your school or post-workout or whatever, you got to stretch when you're done. There's so many people that go out and kick and punt and snap, and they do 50 to 100 reps, and they probably exert themselves a little bit more than they should. Well, then your body's going to be physically tired, and then just tighten up. So it's important to take some time, even if it's 5 minutes, just to do a post-workout stretch to keep elongating those muscles as they cool down. Guys, thanks a lot for listening and for following the podcast. We appreciate everything. Keep submitting us topics that you'd like to hear about, and Brian and I will address them at future segments. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Fourth Down Experience. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fourth Down Experience.